Hundreds of migrants stranded in northwestern Bosnia have spent a fourth night in freezing temperatures and squalid conditions after the camp that housed them burned down. The UN and other international aid groups are urgently appealing to the authorities in Bosnia-Herzegovina to provide alternative shelter for the migrants. They say people could die if they don't act soon.
They were already living in misery. Then things got worse. Freezing temperatures, no heat in a big tent, and just plastic sheeting for a roof, one that threatens to cave in from snow piling up on top. Some people here say they aren't even being regularly fed.
The weather is very cold and we can't sleep in here. In here is no anything. For example, no water, no toilet, no shower, no food, without food. We are sleeping here without food.
About 1,200 refugees were relocated because their former camp burned down a few days ago. The fire allegedly set by frustrated occupants. Located near Bosnia's border with Croatia, the UN camp at Lipa was scheduled to be closed because Bosnian authorities allegedly ignored its appeals to help restore basic services. The cold weather froze showers and toilets weeks ago. Bosnia has become a bottleneck for thousands of migrants hoping to reach Western Europe. Those here try to get into the nearest EU country, Croatia, though Croatian authorities have been loath to allow them entry and usually push back.
If we will go to Croatia, Croatian police beating and push back Bosnia. Bosnia police don't give him everything for our life. Where will we go?
For now, there's still no solution in sight for these migrants who are in dire need of help.
And for more insight on this, we are joined by Peter van der Auweraert, the Western Balkans coordinator of the International Organization for Migration. Peter, thanks for speaking to us. We've seen the misery these people are enduring. Is anyone doing anything to help them?
Well, what we're seeing really is a political deadlock. We have been asking, as IOM and other international organizations and also the EU, for the Bosnian authorities to identify an alternative location for the people that you just saw in Lipa, but also for the estimated 1,500 people that were already sleeping outside in forest camps and in abandoned buildings. And unfortunately, despite, I think, our collective best efforts, no political agreement has been reached. And today, I don't expect any progress either. And it's really a political issue because unlike in other humanitarian crises, we actually have sufficient resources to immediately help all the people. The only thing that we need is for the authorities to identify where these people can be properly housed. And we are ready to deploy within the next half an hour if such decision would be forthcoming.
And, you know, we've seen this in other places like Lesbos, Greece, where once again a camp was apparently burnt down by the people living in it in a gesture of desperation. Is the European Union to blame, therefore, then, for not taking action?
No, I don't believe so. The fire started after we had decided to pull out of the camp because it was unsafe. And there were no basic services. We've been asking for months from the authorities to connect the camp to the electricity grid and the water system so that we could winterize it, so that it could be a location where migrants could stay during the winter. Then a few migrants who were disgruntled because they had to leave Lipa without any alternative solutions indeed did set fire to the tents. But in this particular case, I do not believe that the EU is to blame. The EU has been providing all the financial support to Bosnia-Herzegovina to take care of the migrants that are on its territory. Let's not forget there are not that many, in total 8,000. That should not be a problem for a country of 3.5 million to deal with. And the European Union, I think, has done everything they can to provide financial resources, but we need political decisions where these migrants can be housed in a proper and humane way.
And just very briefly, is there anything governments in the region or abroad can do to help the camp now?
Well, I think what they can do is to put pressure on the Bosnian authorities and, where necessary, help them to come to a consensus amongst the different parties that on the one hand form the state government, but also a consensus between the central government and the lower level governments. Bosnia-Herzegovina is a very decentralized country, so I think that the country needs all the help it can get to come to a political consensus. The money is there, but we need a political consensus on how to move forward. And as you've seen from the images, it is super urgent.
Thank you so much for that. Urgent indeed. Peter van der Auweraert from the Western Balkans, coordinator of the International Organization for Migration.
Thank you for having me.